right after we're done with this wall insulation, which is R13, we'll move on to this R30, which is our roof insulation. And then once that's in, we'll get it inspected, make sure we're good, and then we'll start on drywall. We have a few pieces left. We filled in all of our larger sections, and now we're gonna fill in, like I have to fill in around this compression stud, and then up here above our door in between these cripples, and then over there a little bit underneath our window right there, and above it in between our cripples again, but just some little pieces. And then after that we'll start in on this roof insulation.
Is it going to help out that, like, for example, you guys have these pieces right here? Is that going to make it difficult, or a little bit more of a help as you guys have to get the insulation through there?
It'll honestly make it a little bit more difficult because usually you can just lift the insulation for these. They come, we're cutting them to the size we need. Sometimes they come to size, but I think we'll have to cut them to size, and then you just put them right in there. So it will actually cause us to have to work around them, but it won't be too bad because you see we only have it right here and right there, and then a little bit in that area. But it honestly won't be that bad. This is the normal stuff you have to work around when you're doing insulation. There'll always be stuff usually running through the roof and through the walls. You'll have to work around it. Yes, sir. Hydration is key. I make sure to mainly just drink water when I'm here. Because hydration is definitely key. You won't really realize how much work you put in. Well, you realize how much work you put in, but more the amount of energy you lost, the amount of water your body has lost and stuff. You have to replenish yourself. You don't want a piece to be too large for an area, and you don't want it to be too small as well, but it doesn't have to be an exact fit. It's pretty easily, like this right here, that was a nice fit. You can just put it up there and then just butt it up to the top of where it'll be, and then kind of just see, like this piece, I'll just mainly need to cut a little bit off the bottom and it'll be able to fit right in there. You definitely don't want it to be too loose in there though. If like the spacing was like this and there was like a gap in there like that, that is not what you want to see, because then that'll allow air to get come in right there and get caught right there, and then it'll make it so this part of the roof or this part of the wall isn't properly insulated. So then you'll have, and if you do that repeatedly over the wall and also with the roof, it'll make it so it's a lot harder to keep the house either cold or hot, whichever you're trying to do. There's definitely a little bit of a like science to it, but it's not too specific. You just have to make sure, like you said, not too big and not too little. And you want to make sure you have a nice sharp blade, because see right here, I'm probably gonna have to change out my blade because it's kind of ripping it when it cuts it. Usually it'll just cut right through it real nice. That's what you want. But when it starts ripping it like that when you're cutting it, it probably means that you'll need a new blade soon. And hopefully we'll be able to get through with this pretty fast. And he said if we get our drywall done today, that we'll be able to leave early, so that'd be nice. But you see when the insulation starts to look like this, see how it's all getting all ripped up and it's all just like that? You basically don't really want to use that, because it's losing its insulation, its R value, that's what they call it. It's losing it. Like right here, this is what you want it to look like more, but this right here, it's starting to rip up. I'm not even gonna use this piece. As well, when you're putting insulation in, you have to be careful for stuff like this. You can't see it from where you are, but
What are you pointing at?
you gotta be careful for this when we're putting in our sheeting. There's a shiner, if you see right there. That's a pretty, there's two shiners. They're real hard to see because we don't have good lighting in here right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're just being, if you're being quick, you're just putting your hand in there fast, you could snag your finger on there. So I'm gonna just try to knock those out real quick. Last thing we want on a Monday is a ripped open finger from a nail. This stuff that we're using right here, I don't believe it, it's not fiberglass, but it is some type of recycled material to make the insulation. I'm not 100% what it is, but we've used this pink stuff before that is fiberglass, and that is a lot more itchy, a lot more irritating on the skins and the lungs. You definitely wanted to wear a mask for this. Even with this, you want to wear a mask, but it's a lot less. You don't feel it as bad. You definitely do want to wear a long sleeve though, because it will start to irritate your skin the more it rubs up on it, and then you're stuck here for the rest of the day, and you're not even able to go take a cold shower to wash it off until 8 hours later. So you definitely want to wear a long sleeve, and pants as well, and even glasses, because you do not want any of that stuff to get into your eyes. Insulation isn't really too hard. It's more irritating. It's definitely one of the more irritating tasks, but it's not hard at all. It's very important for our women, yeah, to feel empowered in whatever color they want to wear, you know. Her choice of color is pink, you know, more power to her. Yeah, we're done with the wall. We're done with wall insulation, so we still have to do the roof, but I'm just cleaning up, so we'll have a cleaner workspace when we go to do the roof. I just have one more piece right here to fill in. I'll see how they want us to fill that in. Yeah, it's definitely hot, man. Oof. All right, last piece. I'm gonna see if anyone else filled that piece in to see how they did it. What do? You just try to stuff it behind there?
What I did, bro, is I cut it in half.
All right, most definitely. Yes, that's the way I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna try to stuff it back behind those pipes.
When you go into the other tiny homes, in this case Austin, like there's always good information to learn from somebody else, right?
Yes, sir, most definitely. You always can take information from another group and then translate it over to your build, because you have to remember everyone's doing the same thing here. So everyone's going through the same problems that you're more than likely going through, and they've either found a solution to it, or they did it a certain way that was wrong, and then they can give you that insight before you go try to do it. So it's better to just, when you're not 100% about something, because we've never did insulation around plumbing like this before, that you want to just go and communicate with other people to make sure that you're comfortable with what you're doing and make sure that you're doing it properly. This is our third build, but this is our first time having this much plumbing and ventilation in one single area. We have a dishwasher right here, and then we have our lines running over to our shower right here, and they're running over to our will be toilet and our sink drain. So we have a lot going on in this small area, and we've never had to deal with this. So talking to other people about it definitely helps you, because we have no idea what we're really doing when it comes to working with this much plumbing. But that's the thing about this program. On all the builds, we're really learning a lot of new stuff. The first build was pretty simple. It was just a box. We didn't have any type of cabinetry, any type of plumbing. We just had some basic, simple electrical. But even on our second one, we added in some three-ways. We added in electrical for electrical for our sink, because we needed dishwasher and a garbage disposal, so we had to add in the electrical for that, and that was new. And then now on this one, we did some even more new electrical, and we added more plumbing. So every build, there's a lot of new stuff that we're learning, and makes it so that you know what you're doing, but at the same time, you're adding to your knowledge, which is good. Yes, sir, and that looks good to me. Gotta take a little break for a second, you know? So thankfully our roof pieces are, our roof insulation is exactly 2 foot, which is the spacing of our I-joist, which actually makes the roof insulation not too hard. The hardest part about it is, as you're saying, keeping your arms above your head for so long, and then the continuous little particles falling on your face. So you want to definitely make sure you have your mask and glasses when you're doing this. But besides that, the roof insulation is not too bad. It's honestly going to go up faster than the wall insulation, because the wall insulation you have to make all these little cuts and stuff. The roof insulation, just got to stuff it up and make it fit around the wires, which is not bad at all. If all of our framing was 16 on center, it can't be, because we have to add in certain stuff like our frame, our doorways, and our compression stud that throws off our 16 on center. But on a lot of these pieces, they are, and that's the way that insulation comes. It comes 16 inches already, so that, or not 16 inches, but whatever the spacing is between that, and it fits in real nice. But then when you have smaller pieces like that, that's just what adds in the extra time. But really, if you're ordering the right stuff for the right size holes that you have, it really is not that long of a process. But the roof definitely does go up faster than the walls. You need probably I think you need 2 packs per house. Or I think it's 2.5. So we'll have to get 1 more pack. After that, we'll be done with insulation. Five, 6, 7. We need 7 more pieces. 7. Alrighty, we have enough to fill in our large holes. Then yeah, we'll have to open up another pack to fill in the small gaps. So insulation is definitely not the funnest job, but it is important. So you gotta make sure you're doing it right. Can't be really cutting corners. There's not too many corners to cut, but with like making sure it's stuffed in places correctly. You don't want to just have it all. You don't want to have it too stuffed in the place. You want to make sure it fits in the area properly. We'll probably have to do for this is probably have to cut it. Yeah, basically I kind of took a visual representation of what I needed and kind of try to just remember. It might be right, it might be wrong, you know. Honestly, you probably might have to rip it and try to fit it around the wires. But yeah, right here, just kind of take a visual. And then see, I was pretty close, a little bit off, but. Whew. So yeah, I just kind of took like a visual representation of where I wanted to rip it and tried to remember the best I could, and then just ripped it and worked out pretty good. Yes, sir. And then if it wasn't, then I would just get another piece and fill it in. With that's the thing about insulation. You can just fill in wherever there is gaps, as long as there's a large enough piece that you can fill in right there. You don't want to put a lot of little slivers in, but if you can fit a good like inch and a half size piece right there, it wouldn't matter. I would just cut a piece and fit it in there, and I'll just put a piece right there, but I'll leave that for the end. Mainly just want to put in your big pieces. You don't really want to get focused on the little pieces right now because you can deal with that at the end when you have all your scraps. Right now you want to try to get the largest pieces you can and fit them in the largest areas to take up the most space.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, that looks like the process, right? Like first you put in the bigger chunks and then you fill in the smaller spaces with the smaller ones, right?
Yeah, that's definitely the way I go about it. Not everyone goes about it that way, but in my opinion, that's the best way to go about it, because then it's faster, first of all, to just throw in these full pieces where they need to go. You see, that only took me about 15 seconds to put in. And second of all, then yeah, it reduces the amount of waste you use because you're using all your large pieces here, and then you'll just you'll try to make up with your scraps what you need to fill here, opposed to just doing a full one, cutting a full one right here, and then you're having more scraps because you're cutting more pieces when you could have just fit a full piece, that full piece in another area. This will overall go into the equation of how easy or how hard it is in the future to keep this place either cold or hot, especially here in the summer. You want to make sure you have proper insulation for a lot of these houses that are going to be running on smaller power sources, like tiny homes. They're not going to usually be on really big power sources like normal homes. You want to make sure that you have the right type of insulation so that your appliances, whatever you have, like fans, air conditioning, that type of stuff, aren't working too hard to make sure that your entire house stays the way you want it.